Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into BigBear.ai. That's ticker symbol BBAI.
Yep, BBI.
And it's a really fascinating company, kind of at the crossroads of national security, commercial logistics, and, well, AI.
Exactly. They're big A and they call it decision dominance.
Decision dominance, right. So think about military commanders needing perfect info for split-second calls, that kind of edge.
That's the idea.
And you'll see they have this dual nature, really deep roots in U.S. government defense intelligence, but also a pretty bold recent pivot into commercial vision AI.
And that's really what this deep dive is all about, isn't it? Trying to understand a company that's, well, actively changing shape.
Yeah, in transition.
It's not just what they do, but how they're kind of remaking themselves. And it's interesting, it's a small cap company, too.
Right, which adds that extra layer. Opportunity, maybe risk.
Could be both.
So to really get where BigBear.ai is now, you kind of have to look back. It wasn't a startup.
No, not at all.
It was actually forged from two established government contractors, New Wave Solutions and PCI.
That's right.
And here's where it gets really interesting. A huge turning point was its public debut, late 2021, came via a SPAC merger.
Ah, the SPAC route. Special Purpose Acquisition Company. Basically a faster way to go public.
Yeah, and it launched with these really optimistic projections that, well, didn't quite happen that way.
No, that's spot on. The initial hype, it kind of crashed against the reality of, struggling to meet those forecasts.
Led to problems.
Oh, yeah. Stock volatility, leadership changes. It really highlighted the challenge a lot of those D-SPACs faced, honestly. Forced them to rethink things fundamentally.
And that reassessment, it led to a pretty transformative move early in 2024.
The Pangiam acquisition.
Exactly. A Pangiam, a leader in vision AI. And this wasn't just like tacking something on. It felt like a real strategic reset.
Definitely. It brought in facial recognition biometrics. And a serious foothold in commercial areas, like airports.
And what's also interesting is the leadership side of that deal.
Right. Pangiam CEO, Kevin McAleenan, he took over as CEO of the whole combined BigBear.ai in early 2025.
Which really signals, they're serious about this new vision AI direction, leveraging his experience too.
Deep experience, yeah. Homeland security background. It's a strong signal. Okay,
so given all that history, the SPAC, the big acquisition, what does BigBear.ai look like today? How's it structured?
Well, it's really operating on two pillars now. Distinct, but you can see how they connect.
Okay, pillar one.
That's their foundation, the government business. Analytics and decision intelligence.
The decision dominance part for DoD, the intelligence community.
Exactly. Using frameworks like the OODA loop, observe, orient, decide, act. Speeding that whole cycle up.
With tools like Vane or Orion, their AI platforms, turning raw data into insights.
Pretty much. And here's a key thing. 92% of their workforce, security clearances.
Wow. That's a huge barrier to entry for competitors, right?
Massive. Very hard to replicate.
Okay, so that's pillar one. What's the second?
Pillar two is the new growth engine, basically from Pangiam. Digital identity and vision AI.
So more focus on the commercial side. Travel, trade.
Yep. Think secure digital identity, like their TrueFace tech. You might see it at airports for check-in, boarding, making things smoother.
And they talk about AI orchestration at the edge. What's that really mean?
It means the AI does its work right there, on the device or sensor locally, not sending everything back to some central cloud.
Which is faster, more secure maybe.
Critical for real-time stuff, yeah. Less delay.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, BigBear.ai is playing in these huge growing markets. AI decision intelligence.
Absolutely huge.
But the competition's fierce. You got Palantir, C3.ai. And isn't there always a risk if you rely too much on government contracts? Limits growth sometimes.
That's a fair point. People definitely raise that. But their argument is that their economic moat in government is, well, it's not physical, it's intangible. Meaning that deep expertise, those security clearances we mentioned, it makes it incredibly difficult for others to just jump in and compete effectively on that government turf.
Creates sticky customers.
Very sticky. High switching costs.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to whip out and replace the core intelligence system for a major defense agency. It's complex, expensive. That's their advantage there.
Okay, strategy sounds interesting. But the proof, as they say, is in the numbers. How are the financials looking through all this change?
Yeah, and this is where the real tension is. Historically, since going public, revenue's kind of flat, net losses.
Not great.
Not ideal, but there's been a really critical shift recently. They've started reporting positive adjusted EBITDA.
Okay, so core operations starting to show profitability.
And positive operating cash flow, too, meaning cash is coming in from the main business. And here's the kicker.
Yeah.
The backlog, it's exploded. Went from around $168 million to over $400 million by early 2025.
Wow, over $400 million. That's huge growth.
Massive. Which, raises the big question. Can they actually turn all that backlog into recognized revenue, deliver on those contracts?
Right. The potential's there in that number, but the risk is execution. Integrating Pangiam smoothly.
Exactly. That's the primary risk, execution and integration. But having the experienced new CEO and diversifying into commercial, those are definitely moves to try and mitigate that risk.
So it really feels like a high risk, high reward kind of situation, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. BigBear.ai is at this really pivotal moment. It's a transformation story unfolding. From that niche government player to potentially this dual-threat AI company.
And the whole narrative really hangs on whether this new leadership can take that massive backlog
That promise.
and turn it into real, sustained, profitable results.
That's the challenge.
So as you think about BigBear.ai, maybe consider the bigger picture too. How could this AI at the edge, processing things in real time everywhere from airport security to tracking packages, how might that really change how things work in the real world?
Yeah. It's definitely a fascinating space to keep an eye on in the next few years. Lots of potential impact. Yeah.